Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie and I want to welcome you back to episode 2 of FrallaKnits. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a multi-crafter living in Atlantic Canada. I'm trying filming outside today, because why not? Episode number 2, keep our fingers crossed that there isn't too much noise. I took about an hour to get set up outside. They never tell you how long it actually takes to put on a floss tube. Holy smokes. So it took me about an hour to get everything kind of prepped and set up out here. And just as I was going to start recording, it started raining. Now, luckily it was just a little shower, and I think the rest of it is going to be missing us. I kind of looked at the on the weather radar and yeah, it looks like we should be staying relatively dry. I do have a gazebo above me, but when the rain falls, it hits the metal roof and all that. I just wanted to give you a little look around to see where we are. Like I said, I'm in Atlantic Canada. I'm currently at my cottage. And let's see. You can see here, that is the bridge to PEI, Prince Edward Island. And that there is the island. So it is gorgeous here. I can see Anne of Green Gables from my deck. Okay, so as I said, welcome back. Episode 2, I came back, excellent. I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a long one. To tell you the truth, I like long videos because I can just put it on, stitch, 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 don't have to worry about what I'm gonna watch next. But I have a lot of stuff surrounding me here. Today we've got cross stitch, of course. We have a bit of knitting, a sleeve's worth of knitting, and I have some quilting whips and finishes and plans to show you. So I guess we'll start with a big thank you that I want to send out to Yaz from Yasmin's Made with Love. She gave me my first ever floss tube shout out. Thank you. I feel like I'm a real floss tuber now. And yeah, that was really exciting. My partner actually, when I told him that I got a shout out, he went over to her video and watched where she shouted me out. He was pretty excited. He did watch my first video, and he was sitting outside while I was inside, and I could hear him cackling, laughing. And when I mentioned the fact that I was going to have some new starts, he said, "No new starts, no new starts." But you know, I have new starts. And after my video, he said to me, "Stephanie, when are you going to show your quilting?" I thought, yeah, I've, didn't get around to it on that one, but I do have some quilting that I've worked on. I did manage to move my sewing machine from home to the cottage. I have a tiny little crafting space set up where I was going to record, but I decided I would try it outside instead. So I guess moving right along into what I've been working on, I have, shocking, no finishes, but lots and lots of whips. So we will start with what we ended with last week, which was my forest fairy, which is, what I absolutely fell in love with, and I ignored the rest of my plans so that I could work on her. So she is called Forest Fairy. I got her from, I'll show you this card again because gosh, I can't pronounce things. Patronesapuntadas. Anyways, from Etsy. Stitching her an 18 count Hada with the called for DMC. And we'll go over here. I worked a little bit more on her face, but what I did more than anything is I wanted to make it all the way up to the corner. I made it to the corner. And I've been working a lot on the background. I think that she is absolutely beautiful. And I knew that if I only stitched her, I would have a hard time doing all of this black and dark green in the background. So I worked on her for my last video was July 26th. I should say today is August the 8th, so it's been about 2 weeks. So I finished off July working on her, and then my plans for August, she's going to be my Sunday stitch. So I've only worked on her 1 day in August. And here's the full size. I don't know if you can see. That's going to be the full-ish size of her. There's the corner. So I think I made it to about 6%. This will be done sometime. Like I said, I use these project trackers from Sward Designs on Etsy. I have the 3-year ones. They go until 2024, so everything has to be done by then. Although I was looking on Etsy the other day, and she has BAP ones that I think are 5 years long, which I probably will look at getting next time. But they're fun. I mean, I like to be able to see, you can see she like took up all of the end of my July, and then just that Sunday stitch. Did I say Saturday? It's my Sunday stitch. All right, whip number 1 done. Number 2 was my new start. I started the hashtag Live in the Sunshine SAL by Samantha the Higa Stitcher, and I will have to insert a picture of what it will look like. I only have a PDF of it, and it is on my iPad, which you are also on my iPad. So this is Summer Quaker by Lila's Studio. I am stitching it on 36 count linen from Fox and Rabbit. It's in the colorway Eureka, and I am doing a mostly Roxy floss conversion. So I've been stitching all over the place on this, mainly because I wanted to see how all these colors work together. The reason I'm doing the conversion, I do a lot of Roxy floss conversions, and actually hand dyed by Rolanda. I'm in both of their floss clubs. The reason that I am doing the conversion on this one in particular is the water is a big chunk of light blue, and I really wanted some variegation in it. So I finally got some of the water in, and also the gray for that whale that's there. And I like the movement, the different colors that are showing up. That's great. I have converted, I think I've chosen about 2/3, 3/4 of the colors. The ones that I haven't chosen yet are for those houses that are on the shore. It's just small amounts of color. I wanted the really big things to be in there first. So here's the colors that I have kind of worked with. Random DMC number 4. I couldn't really find a good substitute for that. I do have a lot of other grays happening in here. So the water I'm doing in this Roxy floss, and you can see it has kind of some lighter teals, maybe a little bit of a purplish blue in there as well. It is unicorn. So that is that. Probably I'm going to be moving on to fill in some of these motifs. Like I said, I wanted to get all of those colors on there and see how they played together. And now that I'm happy with it, I'll probably start filling in these Quaker motifs. All right. Number 3, I should say, my plans. So my July plans for cross stitching were all cottage themed things until Forest Fairy took over the last half of my July. For August, which is my birthday month, I am concentrating on sheep and sunflowers because those are 2 of my favorite things. So for my next whip, I brought out what I'm calling Sheep Virtues in the Meadow. Now, I saw this arrangement of project somewhere online and stole the idea because I think it's fantastic. So there are 12 of these Little House Needleworks Little Sheep Virtues, and I'm working right now on number 3 piece. I'm putting them around the center of my fabric. So there's going to be 5, 5, and then 2 on the sides in the middle. They're going to be around this, which is a country cottage needleworks called Sheep in the Meadow. It says sheep in the meadow singing their song softly and sweetly all the day long. So my plan is like I said, there's 12 of these. I won't show all of them today. To take the colors from all of these 12 little sheep virtues and put them into this sampler. There's no purple in the 12 virtues. At least there's nothing that really stands out to me as purple. So I'll probably pull some colors from the other ones. So I am stitching this on a 32 count Belfast Linen in Vintage Sahara. And I had, let's see, I'll grab this again. I had Hope and Most of Love stitched. I just had to finish up Love, and then I've moved on to Peace. I'm using most of the called for DMCs. I think in the patterns, the sheep might be in a few different colors throughout the patterns, but I am doing them all in DMC Blanc. And I don't know if you can see, but that snowflake, oh yeah, that snowflake I am doing in a toile, and I'll probably add a little bit of sparkle in a few of the other patterns. So this, you can see I have 3, you can see right through this fabric. And then in the middle, I will have that sheep in the meadow, and then, yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm happy to be working on that. I was hoping for this month to work on, you know, one of the virtues, finish it, and then move on to my sunflower project and work on it for, you know, 4 or 5 days, and then come back to this and do another one of the virtues. But I found that I'm actually missing a lot of the DMC for this one. It's probably just tucked in some other project bags. I have not a full set of DMC, but I'm pretty sure I had all of the ones that I needed for this, and sometimes I just steal them out of my master set and put them into whatever project I'm working on, and then when I need them, I can't find them. So I need to get to the cross stitch store and pick some more up. All right, so that leads us to our sunflower, my sunflower pattern. I am working on Dreaming of Sunflowers by Rosewood Manor. I love sunflowers. These are all pretty abstract sunflowers. None of them really scream sunflower to me. The colors do though. I love the colors. I'm not a huge fan of how many times we need to label these as sunflowers. So right now I'm just stitching, I mean, I've only done a few motifs. I'm going to just stitch all of the flowers, and I'll see what I do with the words. I don't think I'll do all of the iterations of sunflower, but we'll see. So this is like I said, by Rosewood Manor. It is on 40 count linen from hand dyed by Rolanda in Vanilla Bean, and here is what I have. So I'm doing a bit of a color conversion, lots of color conversion. I think I have, here's my card. I have some DMCs, some Leo and Roxy, some hand dyed by Rolanda. Kind of, yeah, but the colors are gorgeous. I love the colors. Oranges, greens, yes please. So I'll be working on that as well. All right, next up is the Drawn Thread Summer. Now I showed this on my last video as well. I am working on this Saturdays-ish throughout the summer, hopefully to get done by the end of summer, so that I can work on the autumn one when that comes around. This is on 32 count Belfast Linen in Vintage Sahara. Here's my mostly conversion. I'm doing the called for DMCs, and then I substituted 3 overdyes for the overdyes that they called for. And here is where I got to. I love those little bumbly bees. Satin stitch for the wings, so cute. And this is absolutely ridiculous. This one stitch I did over the next border. I guess I got one in and then got called away to do something. Such is life. So on this Saturday coming up, hopefully I can stitch in the rest of that border. We'll see. All right, the last whip I've worked on in the last 2 weeks, I worked on on July 31st for a small amount of time. I was doing some Black 13 spooky stitching. I plan on the 13th and 31st of every month to do something Halloween-y. 24th and 25th, I do something Christmassy. So I didn't do the Christmassy in July because Forest Fairy, she's beautiful. So here was my Halloween stitch for this month. Black Cat Cries by Teresa Kogut. I was a member of her Patreon for several months, and this was one of the patterns. I am stitching it on a 40 count linen in the colorway Fog with the called for DMCs. So here's my floss mess. Beautiful. You can see it against the fabric. So nice. And this is all that I have. This fabric is incredibly difficult for me to see. So I think I had, when I started, just the moon possibly, and I did the Black Cat allowed to, I want to say, in July, and it was just, the holes were really difficult for me to see. I am hoping that once I get all of the writing in, that like the fill-in of this big moon is going to be pretty easy. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this linen. It is really hard. I stitch on a lot of 40 count. And, oh, that is upside down. And I don't know, it just seems tighter than normal. But I only did a little bit of that on the 31st. All right, so that is the end of my cross stitch whips. Yay! On to knitting. I only did a little bit of knitting in the last couple of weeks. Well, a little bit. I mean, I finished the sleeve on my Stapi sweater. So I left a marker in there. That's where I was during my last video. So I finished that sleeve. And look how fancy. Ooh. It's nice and warm. So one sleeve done, and I only just cast on for the second sleeve. I usually knit in the evenings when my eyes are tired from stitching. And we're in front of the TV, and I just want something to keep my hands busy. But yeah, that's all that I really got done. All right, so now on to quilting. I haven't shown you guys any of my quilting yet. What should I start with? Maybe I will start, I'll start with this. A quilt that I'm working on, the one that I'm currently working on at the cottage. So my quilt store had a fabric sale. They often, if they're getting a big load of fabric coming in, a big delivery, they'll clear out a lot of their old stock at $6 a meter, which is great. So I went in and I chose 3 red-ish fabrics from French General and 3 blue-ish from Kansas Troubles. And I got 3 meters of each fabric. I had no plans what to do, because why have a plan? Just get the fabric and we'll figure it out later. And so I guess my loose plan was to make 1 red-ish quilt for the cottage and 1 blue-ish quilt for the cottage. So came back here, started designing what I wanted to work on, and I decided instead to do 2 of the red fabrics with 1 of the blue for 1 quilt, and then 2 of the blue fabrics with 1 of the red for the other one. And so here are the 3 that I am working on first. So pretty. And this guy. And then kind of the blue little flowers. So all together. There we go. So like I said, I had 3 meters of each, and I started trying to figure out what I wanted to make. And so I took my sketchbook and I decided on 9 patch blocks and star block, sawtooth star. So I'll show you what we've got so far. So I have my sawtooth stars like this, and I have my 9 patch, which looks like this, and they are just going to be alternating throughout the quilt, something like that. My problem was this background fabric. That's what I need the most of because it's in both blocks. And so I started kind of calculating how I was going to cut it out. So I have, you know, how many of the squares I'm going to need and rectangles and all of this. And man, I gave myself just stress, so much stress. I was calculating and calculating. I couldn't figure out how to fit all of them on my fabric. I bought 3 meters, and so I was, you know, adding up how many inches across I had, and then realizing, let's see, I needed 112.5 inches, but I had not that much, and oh my goodness, I just didn't know what to do. I actually calculated somewhere on here the actual number of square inches that I needed. I think that's kind of up here, and the extra number of square inches that I had, and it wasn't going to work. And so then I thought, oh, you know what? Because they're kind of clearing out this fabric, maybe they cut it, you know, they give you a little extra. Let's go and measure how much I actually have. So I go and measure it and realize that I have more than I was expecting. Because, newsflash, meters, they are larger than yards. And I know this. But, so I bought it in meters. I'm making a quilt in inches, which converts to yards. Oh my goodness, so much stress. I was doing so much just trying to figure out how to fit everything on there. I had enough fabric, it's fine. So I have cut out the entire quilt, and right now I am dealing with a bajillion flying geese units. So I have all of them stitched together, and I have some in this state where I need to press them open. I have some in this state where they've been pressed open, but they need to be trimmed. And then the ones that I've actually trimmed and that I'm sewing into the block units. But oh my goodness, these are the bane of my existence. Just all of the pressing and trimming and yada yada yada. The 9 patches, easy perch easy. But all of these flying geese will keep me busy. All right, so that's what I have been working on from, you know, most of the time. The other whip that I am working on, excuse me while I grab it, is just another random quilt that I made up. One of the benefits of being outside is I can actually stand up, which I'm going to need to do to show these quilts. So this is fabric by Melody Miller for Ruby Star Society. It's the Stay Gold line. And here's where I am with this. So it's just a throw. I got this fabric in 3 different colorways. One of the other times that my quilt shop was having their $6 a meter sale. And so I bought a bunch of that, and I also bought 2 charm packs that were on sale at the same time. So basically I've just made, you know, 2 by 2 squares, and I'm alternating with the larger square of that yardage that I have. So I'm at the point right now where I have a quilt sandwich. My backing looks like this, There's another chunk of the yardage. And so basically what I've done so far, you can see it on the back the best. I've done a bunch of quilt in the ditch, and I've started my all over quilting. You can see there. And I'm just going for it. I am free motioning a whole bunch of these curly cues. Whee! So much fun. And yeah, I just wanted something that was round to kind of set off against the very angular squares. So I've done about, oh gosh, maybe 10%, 20% of the quilting on this, probably 10%. So yeah, that's what I will be working on. I put it down yesterday as I was working on the all over quilting because I ran out of bobbin thread, and as soon as I ran out of bobbin thread, my needle broke, which I've never had happen before. So I thought that was a sign I needed to put this away for a moment. So yeah, it just adds a little bit of happy. And I don't know what I'm going to do for the binding. I'll probably use just some more of this pink butterfly. I have lots of that left. So yeah, this will be another fun throw for the cottage, just to add some color. All right, and I was going to show you two of my previously completed quilts. I started quilting in February. I needed a new craft. I needed a new craft like a hole in the head, but I also needed a new craft. I had my small dog, my puppy. He died unexpectedly, and it was rough. I needed something that would kind of take my brain away from that. And, you know, knitting and stitching, I could think too much while still doing it. So I decided I would learn a new craft. Also, the day after the dog passed away, our washing machine broke. So we decided it was a good excuse to go out to shop for a new washing machine that would kind of take our mind off of, you know, death. And just down the street from the appliance store was the quilt store. I told my partner, I'm like, let's just go check it out. You know, I'll be good. I don't need another hobby. Well, so I went in and I bought a fat quarter bundle of this fun cottagey fabric. It's got some of the fabric has like words from the beach, sunset, bring sunshine wherever you go, swim in the sea. And so I bought the fat quarter bundle. I got a background, which is just white with, you can kind of see there's like shells on it. And I went home and I watched, this quilt is actually called Friendship Stars. It's from a Craftsy class. So I pulled up the Craftsy class and I'm like, I'm going to learn how to quilt. And so this was the first quilt that I started, but it is not the first that I finished. And that is because it has a bunch of half square triangles, and I needed a 1/4 inch foot on my sewing machine. I have a 1/4 inch foot, had a 1/4 inch foot, but it has that guide on the side of it. So I couldn't stitch down the middle of the squares to make the half square triangles because the guide was getting in the way. I didn't know if I could take it off, and I didn't know if I took it off if I would be able to put it back on again. So I stitched as much as I could without the half square triangles while I waited for my new presser foot to be delivered. So in the meantime, actually, you know what? I'll show you just the backing. The backing of the quilt is just this fun yellow check. This again was a $6 a meter sale at my craft store, and then I pieced it with a couple of the extra fat quarters with those summary words on them that I had left over. Yeah, so that's the first one that I started. While I was waiting for that presser foot, of course, I went back, got another quilt started. I don't know the name of the pattern, but you take It's made out of charm packs and 2 mini charm packs. And so this was super easy. It just came on like a little index card almost from the quilt shop of the pattern. And this is a fabric line from Kansas Troubles. And so it had all just squares, so I didn't need to do any half square triangles, so I didn't need that other foot. So this is the second quilt I started, the first that I finished. And the quilting on this, I just did diagonal lines, and they're straight-ish. You know, I'd be stitching along, and then I'd realize, you know, I don't think I'm gonna make it to the point, so I kind of do a little jig. And I know I always say to people, don't show your mistakes, but you know, it's who we are. I have to show you the one funny thing. Where is it? Now I can't find it. The one funny thing from this quilt. Ah, there it is. I put one piece of the background fabric on backwards. See, it's supposed to have this motif on it, and it's the back side of it. But hey, I made it. The backing fabric is gorgeous. I love it. Love the colors. So that's that. I should actually show you the quilting I did on this. I did just wavy line quilting. It's what they said to do on the Craftsy class, because you know, with wavy lines they don't have to be straight. But I got this cool thread that changed color. It's like variegated. So it has blue and purple, some like lime green, and there's orange in here, which matched pretty well all of the colors in the quilt. So that was awesome. All right. I've got cross stitch whips falling everywhere. Excellent. Okay, so I think that's all I have to show you. So now we're on to plans. Plans. So many plans. Let's see how many I actually stick to. So coming up next, I guess, is my next new start cross stitch wise is going to be the Mystery Garden SAL put on by Yasmin Made with Love and her Patreon. That starts August 15th, which happens to be my birthday, so we'll be casting that on. I need to get to the cross stitch store today to pick up the DMCs for that. I have fabric, but I just want to get the flosses for that. And also on the 15th, I'm going to start a new quilt, a birthday quilt. So like I said, I've been quilting since February, but I will try anything. I don't know any better. So I am going to be starting this beast, the Dear Jen quilt. I've never done applique. I have never used templates. I've never had to make my own templates. Oh my goodness. So this is what I'm going to be starting. I got this beautiful fat quarter bundle. It's got beautiful suns, flowers, little birdie tracks. Oh my goodness. I just love the colors. Love that gold. Silver and gold. Love it, love it, love it. So I got the fat quarter bundle, and I bought a bunch of because the backgrounds to this are kind of cream. They aren't stark white. So I got a bunch of kind of cream neutrals to use as contrasts when needed. So there's a little check. It's cute. Oh, this one has cats. I got a couple cats, so I got to get that in there. Some cute flowers. Just random dots. Some writing. Had to get the yarn. I have a quilt whip that I'm making out of the Pearl line. That's by Sarah Watts for Ruby Star Society. I'll have to bring that to show you guys one of these times. More dots, knitting needles, stripes. So yeah, I'm going to be starting that. on my birthday. I have no idea how long this is going to take me. Forever is what I'm expecting. So like I said, I've never made templates before. So I had to go to the quilt shop to get template plastic. I guess that's what this is for. We're going to try. I downloaded a video by Jen Kingwell all about hand piecing, and she goes over how to make templates, how to stitch stuff together, how to get your seam allowances. So excellent. So anyways, I went to the quilt store to get these, and of course ended up bringing home a kit because I am crazy. So this is Elizabeth Hartman pattern, leafy, but it's made out of all of these beautiful rainbowy fabrics. So I don't know, I have no plans on when I'm going to start this. I really just want to like pet it and look at it, and you know, one day when I need to cut up lots of fabric to sew back together in different arrangements, we'll do that. So those are a couple of my starts. Then September 1st, I am joining in with the New Hampshire stitcher Lauren for the hashtag BAP to School SAL. I bought the pattern and fabric I need for my project. I just need to get the DMC again. I am going to be doing Dutch Beauty. It is redonkulously large. It is a BAP if I've ever seen one. I think I'm going to do it on 32 count. I've got a bunch of BAPs going, and you know, I have them on smaller count, well, bigger, smaller, what do you say, 40 count, so the holes are closer together, and that's great because it makes the project manageable size-ish and framing-able. But I wanted something that would allow me to stitch even when my eyes are tired. This thing is humongous. So I went for a 32 count lamb's wool, I believe, and it's a full yard. It is a full yard of fabric that I'm getting. Holy smokes. So I'm going to be starting that. Later on in the month, like I said, 13th and 31st, I do spooky black 13 stitching. So I might pull out that Black Cat Cries again, but I might also look for something on a little bit of a merrier fabric. Speaking of merry, I also do on the 24th and 25th, Christmas-esque stitching. So what I'm going to be working on this month, possibly, will be Santa's Big Bouquet, also by Teresa Kogut. And I got it for part of her Patreon. And let's see, where is he living? Ugh. He is on 14 count Vintage Country Mocha Ada. Easy, easy. And I only have just a little bit of a start there. But I can see this in any light. It's fun, easy stitching. And there's all of the lovely colors that go with it. And then my one other plan is, oh, sorry, I just dropped something. Okay, on the 17th of every month, I intend to stitch on Trans Pride Tapestry by Dee's 20 Stitches and Carrie Nacken. Now, I have a trans kid, and so I actually started this before he came out to me. So then when he did, I'm like, great, look at this. I can make this for you. It's beautiful. But oh my goodness, I hate this stuff. Oh, it even feels, you know what it feels like? It feels like a scrubby you use to wash your dishes. This is DMC Diamond. And I hate it. I hate stitching with it. I hate it so much. So I have, here's my project card. I started it June 1st, 2021. I stitched on it one day in 2022. Because it's horrible. Have any of you guys used this? I find it splits, and like I said, it feels like you should be scrubbing your pans with it. So I have really not been super interested in stitching on this, but I really want to get it done. So 17th of every month, I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to do my best to put in a couple of lengths of that diamond, filling in that unicorn. And yeah, hopefully, maybe, possibly, we'll get it done. If I'm only working on it once a month, it's not getting done this year. But we can dream, right? There we go. So that's it for cross-stitchy plans. Quilting plans, I'm hoping to be able to press and trim all those flying geese blocks and assemble more of them together. You know, it would be great if I could finish that quilt while it's still cottage season. I don't know. And I'm for sure going to be finishing the quilting and binding on that Stay Gold quilt. I would say for sure by the time that I see you guys again, I'll have that done and washed and all super deliciously crinkly. Let's see, what else do I have for you? Oh, some more plans, maybe not short term. I was watching Kelly from Pages and Stitches. She has both floss tubes and separate quilty videos. And so I was watching her latest quilty one, and she made a couple of cross-stitch project bags, which I've never made a bag. I have done a bit of sewing. I kind of know how to insert a zipper, but I can follow directions. So her bags, she made larger so that they could fit an 11 by 11 Q-snap, which is amazing. I use 11 by 11 often. It's my go-to size. And, you know, normal project bags, I don't have any here with me. They're all inside. You know, they don't fit an 11 by 11 Q-snap. And the other thing that I'm not a fan of with a lot of project bags that I have is the vinyl front. Because you know how it can take the ink off of your printed out patterns, and then it sticks to the vinyl, and then it transfers to other, I don't know. Anyways, so she made some, fit in 11 by 11. They had a top zipper, and they were all fabric. Fantastic. I'm going to figure out how to do that. So that's thing number one in long term. I also found another new to me floss tuber, but she has like 19 videos out, I think. And her name is Haley. She's the Peregrine Stitcher. Fantastic. Oh my goodness, I have binged all of her videos. She stitches a lot of samplers. Now, I don't think I have any reproduction samplers in my whips. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because I am not a fan of the verses. I'm not religious. I don't need religious verses in my stitching. So I haven't done them, but they're so beautiful. I love looking at them. So anyway, she has a bunch of the samplers that she just changes the words on. I'm like, why did I not think of that? So now all I want to do is stitch samplers and change the words probably to lyrics from my favorite songs, because I love music. I love music that tells stories. So, you know, that's what I want to do. So I started looking through sampler patterns to see what ones I liked. And then, so I could stitch them and put my own words into them. Then I thought, well, why am I paying for the sampler pattern? I have this funky book. Have you guys seen this? So I think I got it a few years ago. 2020. The Ultimate Sampler Motifs Source Book by Brenda Keyes. And just a quick, you can see it's got houses, flowers, animals, humans in here. So I'm using the program, what's it called? Fiddle Stitch. And I'm designing my own sampler out of here. And then I'm going to leave space to I'm not going to do the lyrics yet. I'm just going to leave an appropriate amount of space, because by the time that I stitch it, I'll probably be on to some other, earworm that's running through my head. So yeah, that's one great idea that I got from Haley. The other thing is she has this red sampler wall, which I know a lot of people have. And all of like the alphabet samplers and that stitch in red. I don't really know what the history of the red sampler is. I should probably look that up. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do all of those in like blues? Because I don't really relate to the red. So anyways, I have this idea of stitching a whole bunch of alphabet samplers and other types of samplers, possibly all in blues, like just changing out even the red samplers that have like the flowers, maybe just changing the flowers into blue. I don't know. I don't need more starts. And yeah, so I said I binged her channel, and possibly because I watched all the videos, you know, within a week, but also because I think she's really prolific. Like she had a lot of finishes, a lot, and then fully finished. She's always bringing stuff to the framer. So I'm pretty inspired to try and get some stuff done. I don't even know where I'm going to start though. I have so many big projects, so many things that I want to be working on. Yeah, I want some finishes. So August, sheep and sunflowers. And September, I know a lot of people do sampler September. I'm going to be doing long dog sampler September. I have, I don't know, 3-4 long dogs going. So I'll probably do them all month long, along with my back to school SAL, which is insane. The forest fairy will be staying with me. And again, I'll be working on the different seasonal stitches through the season. So I guess that's it. It wasn't as long as I was expecting. 46, 47 minutes. It's pretty good. So hopefully I'll be back in a couple of weeks. This weekend, actually, I'm pretty excited. We're going to stay in these like dome glamping, I guess is what it would be. Not really camping. These domes outside that they are clear on the top. And we are going this weekend because it's the Perseids meteor shower. And I would love to watch the meteor shower without being eaten by bugs. So we're going to be doing that this weekend. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll actually be able to see something. And then I have my birthday after that. So I'll see you after my birthday. I'll be a year older. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.